Hey everybody, it's your favorite Asian robot right here, hopefully your favorite official content creator for the First Descendant. Let me start this video off by saying that I'm so sorry for not streaming tonight. My condition, my persistent cough is getting worse, so I ask only that you be understanding if there's any coughing during the video. I truly feel bad for not streaming for you guys, but I still wanted you guys to have the content, so I made this video instead. Many of you guys have asked me about defense versus hit points. I know it's a hot topic right now, and what I have to say is that hit points are significantly, and I say this again, significantly better than defense. Now, just to answer some other questions about why we didn't know this, why is this only coming out now? Well, I'll show you the spreadsheet in a second, but basically what had happened was that during the time that we were going through the storyline, we were looking for the easiest way to survive. The easiest way for us to survive was actually to rely on defense because defense worked very well. It offered the benefits of damage reduction and enemy damages didn't get very, very high. That being said, once we started getting into hard mode, we realized that there is a wall you cannot push defense past because of diminishing returns. What are diminishing returns? For those that don't understand the principle of diminishing returns, I'm going to explain it really quickly. Diminishing returns means that as you go higher and higher up, right? It means that the amount of defense that you need in order to get to the next amount of reduction, the next 10% of reduction, say for example, right, increases, okay? Let me quickly show you an example of what diminishing returns is. Okay, if we were to talk about diminishing returns, now I'm just going to show you a very quick and loose example. I'm actually just going to do it up on this Google Sheet right here. Let's say that you need... Let's say that in order to get the first 10% reduction, so we'll put 10% reduction here. In order to get 10% damage reduction, you need 4,000 defense. Now, these are not exact numbers. These are guesstimated numbers. I do not know the exact numbers, okay? Then to get 20% reduction, you need double that, 8,000. Let's say 30% reduction, you're going to need double that, 16,000. For 40% reduction, you're going to need double that, 32,000, right? Excuse me, 50% reduction, you're going to need double that, 64,000. Do you see how astronomical the numbers are going to get? Once you go to 64,000, do you know that the next number is 128,000? Which is not really achievable by anyone other than Ajax. Even then, you're only getting another 10% reduction. So stacking defense, other than for Ajax's skills, is really, really not good. If we were to look at the value of reduction as well, when you start dealing with high value enemy numbers, okay, you're not actually going to get a lot of reduction out of it. Why is that the case? If we take a look at this, right? So I did up the spreadsheet beforehand, and I'm going to remove my camera as I go through this, okay? If you have an estimated damage reduction of 10% and the enemy hits you for 1,000 damage, the final damage you're going to get is 900. These are all dummy numbers, but it's just to show you a mathematical example of how this works, right? Let's say you've got a 5,000 hit point pool. You've just taken 900 damage. So now your final hit points are 4,100. You've lost 18% of your hit points. That takes 2 triggers of HP Collector in order to restore, because HP Collector always restores 9%, right? If you have an estimated damage reduction of 20%, the enemy's damage is 1,000, okay? Take note, it's the same right here. Final damage then becomes 800. Your hit point pool remains the same for the first example, all right? We've got 5,000 hit points. Your final hit points will now be 4,200. Your hit points lost is still 16%. You're still going to take at least 2 HP collectors to collect this. And this is similar all the way till the end, all right, when you get to an estimated damage reduction of 40%, okay? Let's say the enemy damages you for 1,000 damage. With damage reduction, you're going to still take 600 damage, but your hit point pool at 5,000, you take 600 damage, you go down to 4,400 hit points, you're still going to require 2 hit point collectors to restore 12% of damage. Sure. There'll be a bit of over restore, and it's still better than taking 18% of your hit points, but you can see that damage reduction does not contribute as much when your hit point pool is small. But what if you had 40% damage reduction, just as an example, all right, and you have increasing hit points? Now, what is 40%? I do not know. I have no idea of the actual damage reductions in the game, so please be aware that damage reduction is not shown in the game. In fact, let me just quickly show you proof of that. If you go to your character's screen now, this is the upcoming Lepic build, all right? I've actually managed to get him to 10,000 hit points without using an energy activator or a crystallization catalyst. Many of you have asked me for this new build for Lepic. I will deliver it by tomorrow, guaranteed. I previously had wanted to deliver to you my old Lepic build, but with the new information that's come out, there is literally no point to that. Okay, so let's go into the info window. You can see that defense will state that the maximum efficiency for effects that reduce defense is 80%, but we have no idea how much 35,000 defense reduces, right? And 35,000 defense is really, really easy to get, and I highly recommend a number around this figure. But going beyond this, pretty much not useful. There are no other stats that show you the actual defense, and you don't need resistances at all. So based on all this stuff, right, you can see that there is no damage reduction percentage, none of that here. You can't tell anything, right? And because you cannot tell anything, you don't have a choice. You just sort of have to say, okay, since I cannot tell, you know, how much my damage reduction is, we have to guesstimate. Our guesstimates lead us to believe that 32,000 is the ideal figure. Okay, so that's why we go for 32,000. Sorry, mouth, medicine. You guys understand, all right? Okay, so coming back here, right? Let me show you the value of 40% estimated damage reduction, but with an increasing hit point pool. Okay? So we're keeping the damage reduction at 40%. Enemy damage 1,000. The final damage is 600. With a hit point pool of 5,000, as in the previous example, you lost 12% of your total hit points, right? Okay? With a hit point pool of 7,500, you're still taking the 600 damage, but right now you've only lost 8% of your hit points. Notice how you can actually heal that back with a HP collector. Now, with the same 40% reduction, all right, and a 10,000 hit point pool, which this Lepic has, taking 600 damage from an enemy attack of 1,000 damage would mean that he's only lost 6% of his hit point. Easy to restore in one HP collector. Here's the kicker. If you get up to 12,500 hit points from an enemy attack of 1,000, you have taken 600 damage. You've lost 11,900 hit points. So your HP loss is only 4.8%. You can take 2 hits and then restore it with a HP collector. Well, you'll still have some left over, but I think I think at this point you understand the value of hit points. If you can go beyond 12,500 hit points, you can get even more value out of it. But this is all contingent upon the fact that the estimated damage reduction is 40%. If we were to change that, all right, the figures would look very different. Let me just show a quick example of doing that right here. If we alter the damage reduction down to, say, 20%, okay, you're taking 6.4%. It's not as drastic a change, but over the long term, it means less hits that you can take. So ideally, what we're aiming for, in either way, you know, we guesstimate that 30,000-ish, which is very easy to achieve regardless, is somewhere around 30 to 40%. So we're just using guesstimated numbers here. We don't actually know for a fact, but we're guesstimating it's around there. So if that's the case, right, once you get to around that number, around that 32,000, it's way better. Excuse me. It's way better that you focus on hit points. And as you can see from this, your hit point count, you want to go as high as possible. I would personally aim for hit points around 15 to 20,000, which is actually very achievable with modules and ultimate descendants. We've already done some testing, and I think some of my people have already reached 20,000 hit points. It's kind of ridiculous, but you can do it, and the value is astronomical. So there's no reason not to have that value, you know? Okay, now, here's what I want to talk about. Okay, let us remove that window. Okay, so this Lepic build, as I've said, has 10,000 hit points, and as you can see down the bottom there, 35,000 defense. Now, I would love to lower it a bit, but unfortunately, because of how numbers and multipliers work, even if I were to lower it a bit to squeeze in a bit more hit points, it probably would not work out in my favor, so I'm just putting that out there first. I could probably get some value out of it, but I think it's going to be difficult to squeeze any more juice out of this. That being said, it is still very possible to raise hit points beyond this, and this build has no energy activator or crystallization catalyst in it. Now, how are we going to prove that this actually helps you survive? I'm sure you guys don't just want to hear me talk, you guys want to actually see the proof. Okay, no problem. We're actually going to do this in a single unedited video. All right.
Have you completed preparation?
I'm going to go straight into hard mode executioner. Now, please take note that the kill time that you're going to see is based on my weapons. My weapons are already tricked out. Lepic is not yet tricked out. What I want you to pay attention to is the survival and the fact that I'm face tanking a lot of these attacks, which would not have been possible with a lot of the previous older style of builds. All right. So we've actually refined our free-to-play builds, and I'll be re-releasing Bunny builds, Bunny's build, and Freyna's. I don't think I can re-release it as effectively. I will need to do some work on it, but I'll try to get it as effective as possible, okay? Okay, Lepic the Epic. Now what I like to do here is that with the Executioner, hitting him in the exact spot is pretty hard, but oh my god, missed on that one. But that's okay. So with Lepic the Epic, as you can see, I'm literally just face tanking his attacks. Previously, this would not have been so possible. Okay? If you think about the previous style of builds where you focus on defense, tanking these types of attacks is really quite difficult because you are saying that the Colossus here, this hard mode Executioner, is gonna dish out way more damage than you might think. Alright? Because you only had a hit point pool of 5,000, so it felt like every attack was intense. But when you've got a large enough hit point pool, every attack is basically child's play, and you can actually start tanking with a free-to-play build that requires no energy activator or crystallization catalyst, and just picking up some orbs will restore you straight away. So you're barely taking any kind of damage from a hard mode Executioner with a baseline Lepic, and I will happily prove this in my Lepic build coming tomorrow that this can be done without an energy activator or catalyst. But I think you can see that, oh, he's hitting me. Well, he didn't hit me, well, whatever. I think you can see that it is actually very easy to create value with a style like this. So again, while we do apologize for not immediately knowing this, at the same time, our testing was based on what helped us survive the storyline and get into hard mode, and this worked really well for us to get into hard mode the first time round there. But when we reached the wall in hard mode of trying to push our survivability higher, defense was not the way to go. So a good balance between defense and hit points in fact brings the most value. So you can kind of see how easily tanky you are when doing stuff like this. I'm just taking most shots to my face while not caring, including his sword swing. And you can just pick up whatever these guys give you and you're good to go, pretty much. So yeah. Oh, time for me to Lepic the Epic. I can't wait to get my ultimate Lepic so I can show you guys what this guy can really do. I do love Lepic a lot. He is my starter Pokemon, but I focused on getting the ultimate bunny first and a few of the other ultimate weapons because although I like Lepic a lot, he suffers from a few things of his own, you know? So I didn't really want to invest heavily in Lepic, but I'm probably going to get an ultimate Lepic as soon as I can. Once I get a few more ultimates, now that outpost farming is easier, you know, he's just so good. Okay. Now, if you do run out of hit points, now you're not completely invulnerable, so you can still run out of hit points. But don't panic too much because you can still kill these guys around. You know, and one or two of them will drop hit points. And if you don't, well, guess what? His final call works really well. His close call, yeah. Look at that. And that one dropped hit points, so now we're back up to nearly full. Sometimes you may need to run around for a little while, but honestly, he'll be alright. And now he goes into rage mode. Perfect timing. Previously, attacks like this felt like really heavy, but now it's just me chilling. Of course, I'm still not gonna take him to my face, but you can see that it's easy enough to chill. Mid-air maneuvering. Oh no, that nerd. Oh well. Now, unfortunately, that one I'm still gonna have to take to my face, but yeah. Get rid of his hummingbirds. Okay, great. Now keep in mind that even if you're face tanking, you can't just absorb every single hit willy-nilly. You know, the enemy's attacks are still gonna hurt, and they could kill you at some point. But you got 3 lives, so what are you worried about, right? You know, once you reach this stage, it's like, why even have teammates? You don't even need them, for the most part, yeah? Okay, he's going invulnerable one more time, so we're just gonna chill, and we'll finish him off at the next round. It's still recording, right? Okay, good. If I didn't hit record after all that, I would have been so sad. But anyway, I am already sad. I didn't get to stream for you guys today, and I feel like I have, you know, not done my work Whoa. I didn't know the falling off the map counts as a death. Okay. My apologies. I got a bit too happy there. Well, learn something new every day. Okay, cool. That's a new one. Oh, I'm shocked. Okay. Well, wasn't expecting that. So, ladies and gents, apparently the edge of the map is not a good place here. I mean, normally it doesn't count as a death and elsewhere, but I've never fallen off the arena again, to be fair, so. Anyway. Basic Lepic for the win! Yes, burn, burn. There we go. So he's slaughtered just like that. Alright. So ladies and gents, thank you very much for watching this video. Again, I apologize about my poor health. But I hope this video helps you guys understand that hit points is way better than defense. That's a hard mode executioner that we just absolutely wasted. You'll probably be able to tank some of the other bosses too, quite easily. So yeah, go for it. You know, enjoy yourself, have fun. Smithereens. Alright, enjoy yourself, have fun. And I'll see you guys on the next one, okay? Y'all have a good day now. Catch you later. Bye.